It's exciting being a diver because underwater, you experience new sensations. You feel pressure, swim almost weightlessly, and see and hear things differently. These result from the different physical properties that water and air have and relate directly to your safety and enjoyment as a diver. Right now, you're surrounded by pressure. It's the weight of the atmosphere of air. We call this 1 bar or atmosphere. When you go underwater, the water adds to this pressure. 10 meters, 33 feet of water adds the same pressure as the 1 atmosphere of air. So, the pressure increases 1 bar or atmosphere for every 10 meters or 33 feet you descend. Increasing pressure doesn't affect water, but it compresses a gas like air. So as you go deeper, pressure reduces an air volume and increases its density by pushing the molecules closer together. This pressure-volume density relationship is important because it affects air spaces including your ears, sinuses, lungs, and mask. It also affects controlling your buoyancy and how long your air lasts. As shown here, there's a relationship between the pressure and a gas's volume and density. At 10 meters or 33 feet, the pressure is twice the surface pressure, so half the air volume remains and the density doubles. The same relationship applies when you ascend. As the divers ascend, the gas re-expands so it's full of air at the surface. But what would happen if the divers inflated a balloon and sealed it at depth, then ascended? The air would expand and burst the balloon. To prevent this, the divers must keep the balloon unsealed and release some expanding air as they ascend. This is a very important concept we'll return to shortly. As you descend, water pressure compresses the air in your body air spaces. When descending, this primarily affects your ears, sinuses, and mask. A squeeze is discomfort caused by the imbalance between the water pressure and the airspace. A squeeze can injure you if you continue to descend. But you can prevent a squeeze by adding air to air spaces to balance the pressure. This is called equalization. Equalize your ears and sinuses by blowing gently against your blocked nostrils, or by swallowing and wiggling your jaw. Blow through your nose into your mask to equalize your mask. Equalize frequently as you descend before you feel discomfort. You shouldn't ever feel pain. If you can't equalize, stop your descent. Signal your buddies or the instructor. They can't tell that you're having difficulty unless you do. Ascend slightly and try again. If you still can't equalize, discontinue the dive and try another day. Continuing to descend with unequalized air spaces can lead to serious injuries. A cold or allergy that causes congestion can make equalizing difficult or impossible, so don't dive until you're well. Equalize gently. Never attempt a forceful and/or extended equalization. A forceful extended equalization can cause serious, permanent ear injuries. Earplugs create an airspace that you can't equalize, so don't use them while scuba diving. Increasing pressure may affect other body airspaces. It's rare, but an airspace can form under a tooth filling and cause discomfort. There's no way to equalize this, but your dentist can correct it. A dry suit holds an air layer around your body that compresses. You learn to add air to equalize it when you take the PADI Dry Suit Diver course. Air expands as you ascend, and normally exits your internal ear spaces, mask, and sinuses without doing anything. But expanding air can be a serious issue related to your lungs. Using scuba, your lungs are at normal volume at depth. If you were to hold your breath and ascend, expanding air would overexpand and rupture your lungs, much like it bursts a balloon filled and sealed at depth. For this reason, the most important rule in scuba diving is to breathe continuously and never, ever hold your breath. Even small depth changes can cause lung overexpansion injuries. If you hold your breath, lung overexpansion can cause severe injuries, including paralysis and death. Medical treatment requires a pressurized recompression chamber, but diving commonly takes place several hours from such chambers. But while lung overexpansion injuries are very serious, they are also very easy to avoid. Breathe continuously and never hold your breath while scuba diving. This way, during ascent, expanding air escapes without issue. If you don't have your regulator in your mouth, exhale a slow, steady bubble stream so you don't hold your breath. Also, never dive with lung congestion, which has some risk of trapping air in your lungs and causing overexpansion injuries. It is rare, but some body air spaces may have a reverse block. This means expanding air can escape. Diving with a cold or allergy can cause a reverse block, but again, you shouldn't dive with a cold. Gas forming in your digestive system can cause some discomfort if it doesn't pass. And an airspace under a dental filling may, again very rarely, cause one. If you experience a reverse block, stop your ascent. Descend a meter or a few feet or so and give the trapped air time to work itself out. Then continue your ascent more slowly. As you've learned, as you go deeper and the pressure increases, the more a gas volume decreases. This means that the deeper you are, the more air each breath uses from your cylinder. So the deeper you are, the faster you use your air. Because the air is denser with depth, it takes more effort to breathe. Take slow, deep breaths while scuba diving. Pace yourself and avoid getting winded or out of breath. If you have a problem, stop and maintain or restore slow, deep breathing. As a scuba diver, 1. Breathe continuously and never ever hold your breath. 2. Breathe slowly and deeply. 3. Don't allow yourself to get winded or out of breath. And 4. If faced with a problem, stop and maintain and/or restore slow, deep breathing. When you put something in water, buoyancy pushes the object upward. The upward force is equal to the weight of the displaced water. Whether something floats, sinks, or does neither depends upon whether it weighs less than, more than, or the same as the water it displaces. As a diver, you primarily use your weight system in BCD, buoyancy control device, to control your buoyancy. As you descend, you tend to lose buoyancy. You add air to adjust for the change. When you come up, you become more buoyant, so you vent air to adjust. You'll discover that even breathing changes your buoyancy. It increases slightly when you inhale and decreases slightly when you exhale. By mastering buoyancy control, you enable yourself to control your descent and ascent rates, to stop at any depth, to save energy, to stay off the bottom, or to float comfortably on the surface. Recreational divers do not dive alone. You always dive with a buddy or buddies. Together, you plan your dives, help each other gear up, safety check each other, provide dive time reminders, assist with problems, and assist with the dive objective. The buddy system is important for practicality because you assist each other, and for safety because you can help each other prevent and handle problems. It's also important because diving is a social activity. You'll find diving is more rewarding and fun simply because you get to share your underwater adventures and experiences with others.